Across the screen, Part 4. Sophie's determination to keep Alex away from Lina grew stronger with each passing day. She knew that planting seeds of doubt in Alex's mind wasn't enough. She needed concrete evidence to push him over the edge. That's when she devised her most deceitful plan yet, one that involved Rohan and an old photograph of him and Lina. Sophie reached out to Rohan, who was eager to help, still driven by his deep feelings for Lina and the hope that he could win her back. Sophie explained her plan. They would take an old picture of Rohan and Lina, one that showed them together in a way that could be easily misinterpreted, and make it look like it was taken recently. The goal was to convince Alex that Lina had been unfaithful and that the baby she was carrying wasn't his. Rohan hesitated at first, feeling conflicted about deceiving Lina, but Sophie's persuasion was relentless. She convinced him that this was the only way to break Lina and Alex apart for good, paving the way for Rohan to step back into Lina's life. Driven by his own desperation, Rohan agreed to the plan. Together, Sophie and Rohan carefully selected an old photograph of him and Lina, one from when they had been close friends before Lina ever met Alex. In the picture, Lina and Rohan were standing close, smiling warmly at the camera. With a few tweaks and edits, Sophie made the photo look recent, ensuring it looked convincing enough to fool Alex. Once the doctored image was ready, Sophie sent it anonymously to Alex. The message was brief but devastating. "You deserve to know the truth." When Alex received the photo, his heart sank. Seeing Lina with Rohan, looking so happy and intimate, shattered the last remnants of trust he had in her. The image, combined with the doubts Sophie had already planted in his mind, was enough to convince him that the baby wasn't his and that Lina had been lying all along. Alex stared at the photo, his emotions a mixture of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. The woman he loved, the one he had wanted to build a future with, seemed to be deceiving him in the worst possible way. The thought of Lina with Rohan, and the possibility that she had been unfaithful, was more than he could bear. Fueled by this newfound certainty, Alex decided he would meet Lina one last time to end their relationship for good. There would be no more doubts, no more confusion. He needed closure, even if it meant breaking both of their hearts in the process. Alex reached out to Lina and asked to meet her. Lina, unaware of the storm brewing in Alex's mind, agreed, hoping that this meeting might bring them closer or at least give them a chance to talk things through. When they met, the tension was palpable. Lina could sense that something was deeply wrong, but she couldn't understand what had changed. She looked into Alex's eyes, searching for the love that had once been so strong between them, but all she saw was cold resolve. "Alex, what's going on?" Lina asked, her voice trembling with worry. Alex didn't waste any time. He pulled out his phone and showed Lina the photo. "Explain this," he demanded, his voice hard and unforgiving. Lina stared at the picture, her heart dropping into her stomach. She recognized it immediately. It was an old photo, taken years ago before she even knew Alex. The realization that someone had manipulated this image to make it look recent hit her like a freight train. "Alex, this picture is old," Lina began, trying to keep her voice steady. "I don't know who sent this to you, but it's not what it looks like. Rohan and I were just friends, and this was long before I met you. You must believe me." But Alex's mind was made up. The doubts, the fears, and the lies Sophie had fed him had taken their toll. He couldn't see past the image, couldn't hear Lina's words over the roar of betrayal in his heart. "I've given this a lot of thought, Lina," Alex said, his voice cracking. "I can't do this anymore. I can't trust you. I don't even know if the baby is mine. This must end." Lina's eyes filled with tears as she realized the gravity of the situation. She reached out to Alex, desperate to make him see the truth, but he stepped back, his decision final. "Goodbye, Lina," Alex said, turning away, unable to bear the pain any longer. As Alex walked away, Lina stood frozen, her world collapsing around her. She watched the man she loved disappear from her life, knowing that Sophie's lies and Rohan's complicity had destroyed everything they had built together. The pain was unbearable, but the knowledge that she was now truly alone, carrying a child that might never know its father, was a weight too heavy to bear. Lina was left to pick up the pieces, her heart shattered, and her future uncertain. Heartbroken and devastated by the turn of events, Lina made a difficult decision. She couldn't stay in a place filled with memories of Alex, nor could she bear to be around people who reminded her of everything she had lost. She decided to leave it all behind: her family, her friends, and the man she once thought she would spend her life with. The only thing she knew for certain was that she would start a new life with her baby, far away from everything she had ever known. As she prepared to leave Switzerland and return to Nepal, Lina's mind was consumed with a mix of sadness and determination. The betrayal by Alex, fueled by a picture she knew had been manipulated, had cut her deeply. But more than anything, she needed closure. She needed to confront Rohan about the photo and the role he had played in tearing her and Alex apart. Once she arrived back in Nepal, Lina wasted no time in reaching out to Rohan. She sent him a message, asking him to meet her. Rohan, unaware of Lina's true intentions, agreed without hesitation. He was still holding on to hope that Lina might give their relationship another chance, especially now that she was no longer with Alex. When they met, Lina's face was a mask of calm, though her emotions churned beneath the surface. She had rehearsed what she wanted to say 100 times on the flight home, determined to stay composed. "Rohan, I wanted to talk to you about something important," Lina began, her voice steady. Rohan, sensing the seriousness in her tone, nodded and waited for her to continue. "I received a picture from Alex," Lina continued, her eyes locking onto Rohan's. "It was an old photo of us, but someone made it look recent. It's the reason Alex ended things between us. I need to know, did you have anything to do with that?" Rohan's eyes widened, and he quickly shook his head, feigning innocence. "Lina, I swear, I don't know anything about that. The picture must have been from our past, back when we were together. It was probably posted on social media a long time ago. I would never do something like that to hurt you." Lina searched his face for any sign of deception, but Rohan's act was convincing. Despite her better judgment, she wanted to believe him. She was too exhausted, too broken to dig any deeper. "Okay," Lina said quietly, nodding. "I just needed to hear it from you." Rohan, sensing that Lina had accepted his explanation, relaxed slightly. "I'm sorry for what you're going through, Lina. You deserve so much better than what Alex did to you." Lina didn't respond. She had gotten the closure she needed, or at least as much as she was going to get. But her heart was already far from this place, from Rohan, and even from the memories of Alex. She had made up her mind to leave, to start over somewhere new where she could raise her child without the shadows of the past haunting her. She didn't tell Rohan about her plans, knowing that it would be better for both of us if he didn't know where she was going. This chapter of her life was over, and she needed to close it completely. Rohan, for all his past love and current concern, was a part of the world she was leaving behind. After their meeting, Lina went home and began planning to disappear quietly. She didn't want to involve her family, fearing that they might try to change her mind or that they would suffer from the stigma of her situation. She decided to tell them only after she had settled into her new life, far away. As she packed her belongings, Lina felt a strange mix of sadness and resolve. She was about to embark on a journey into the unknown, with only her unborn child as her companion. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: she would never look back. With everything in place, Lina left her old life behind, determined to build a new one where she and her baby could find peace and happiness. She walked away from the pain, the betrayals, and the love that had once been her whole world, knowing that whatever came next, she would face it with strength and courage. Rohan couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction as he realized that their plan had worked. Lina was gone, and the wedge between her and Alex was now seemingly irreversible. He reached out to Sophie, who had been his co-conspirator in this deceitful plot, to share the news. "Lina's out of the picture," Rohan said, his voice carrying a hint of triumph. "She confronted me about the photo, but I played it off. She believed me, or at least she didn't push any further." Sophie, at the other end of the call, felt a wave of relief. Their secret was safe, and the path was clear for her to move forward with her own plans. "Good," Sophie replied, her voice calm and composed. "We need to make sure the truth never comes out. From now on, we should keep our distance. No more contact. It's better for both of us." Rohan agreed. Their partnership had served its purpose, but it was time to sever ties and move on with their lives. They both knew that the consequences of their actions could be catastrophic if ever revealed, and neither was willing to risk it. With that, Rohan and Sophie went their separate ways, each carrying the weight of their deception in silence. Sophie, however, had no intention of stopping there. Now that Lina was out of the picture, she planned to turn her full attention to Alex, to show him that she was the one who truly cared for him. Determined to win Alex's heart, Sophie decided to visit him in his place. She knew he would be devastated, and she saw this as her opportunity to offer him the comfort and support he needed. Sophie arrived at Alex's doorstep, her heart pounding with anticipation. When Alex opened the door, he looked exhausted, his eyes dull and filled with pain. It was clear that the breakup with Lina had taken a toll on him. Sophie immediately stepped forward, wrapping her arms around him in a warm, comforting embrace. "Alex, I'm so sorry for everything you're going through," Sophie whispered, holding him close. "You don't deserve this, but you're strong and you can get through it. Maybe this is a sign that you need to start fresh, to take this as a lesson and move forward with your life." Alex didn't respond immediately. He was too overwhelmed by his emotions, the weight of the breakup pressing down on him like a heavy cloud. But Sophie's presence was comforting, her words soothing the raw edges of his pain. She had always been there for him, and now, in his darkest moment, she was the only one offering him solace. "You're right," Alex finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Maybe this is a lesson. I need to move on, but it's so hard. I never imagined things would end like this." Sophie pulled back slightly, looking into Alex's eyes. "I'm here for you, Alex. I've always been here, and I always will be. We can start fresh together. You don't have to go through this alone." Alex nodded, though the emptiness in his heart remained. He appreciated Sophie's support, but deep down, he knew it would take time to heal from the wounds left by Lina. Still, having Sophie by his side made the burden a little easier to bear. While Sophie was working to secure her place in Alex's life, Lina was quietly making her own plans. She had found a good job in another city, far from the memories of her past. Without saying a word to anyone, not even her best friend, Lina packed her belongings and left her house. She was determined to start a new life, away from the pain and betrayal that had consumed her life. Her decision to leave without telling anyone was driven by a need for a clean break, a fresh start where she could focus on building a life for herself and her unborn child. As Lina settled into her new surroundings, she felt a mix of fear and hope. The road ahead was uncertain, but she was determined to make it on her own, free from the shadows of her past. The life she had once imagined with Alex was gone, but she was ready to embrace the future, whatever it might hold. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe to hear the next part of the story.